The Monsterverse is the legendary Pictures cinematic universe using the iconic kaiju from Japan's Toho Pictures and has captivated audiences worldwide from its inception with Godzilla in 2014 and the newest installment Godzilla and Kong: The New Empire. The franchise has grossed over $2 billion worldwide at the time of this video's release. This cinematic universe was born from a desire to rekindle the magic of classic monster films for a new generation. Hello everyone. This is Sleep Study Relax Lore Hub, and we are very excited for Godzilla and Kong: The New Empire. But before it hits the big screens, we wanted to recap all the movies that have built up to it. There are timestamps in the description. And wait till the end for our views, thoughts and predictions for the latest release. Now sit back, relax and enjoy the lore. The story starts in 1954. During a nuclear test, a colossal creature emerges from the ocean. In 1999, Monarch scientists Ishiro Serizawa and Vivian Graham uncover a massive skeleton in the Philippines alongside two chrysalises, one dormant, the other broken open, leaving a trail to the sea. This event triggers seismic activity, leading to the destruction of the Janjira nuclear power plant in Japan, where Supervisor Joe Brody loses his wife Sandra. 15 years later, Joe's son Ford, a Navy officer, is drawn into Monarch's investigations when his father is detained for trespassing in the Janjira quarantine zone. Together, they discover crucial data from their former home within the zone. However, they are captured and brought to a secret facility within the plant's ruins, where they encounter a winged creature that escapes, causing havoc. Serizawa reveals the existence of Godzilla, a prehistoric alpha predator, awakened by nuclear tests, and the Muto, a creature feeding on nuclear energy. As the Muto wreaks havoc, Ford finds himself in Honolulu, awaiting a flight home. The military battles the Muto, but their weapons are ineffective due to its EMPs. Godzilla arrives, initiating a fierce battle. Meanwhile, another Muto emerges in Nevada, believed to be the mate of the first. The monsters converge near San Francisco, prompting a plan to use nuclear warheads to lure them away. Ford joins the effort to deliver the warheads, facing obstacles from the Muto's EMPs. The monsters take one warhead to their nest in the city, where the female lays eggs. With the military unable to stop Godzilla, they withdraw, allowing the monsters to fight. Ford and his team infiltrate the city to disarm the warhead, leading to a showdown between Godzilla and the Mutos. In the chaos, Ford destroys the nest, prompting the female to leave. Godzilla defeats the male but is injured and exhausted. Ford manages to dispose of the remaining warhead, saving the city. The next day, he reunites with his family as Godzilla, presumed dead, returns to the ocean after a final roar. In 1944, two World War II fighter pilots, American pilot Hank Marlowe and Japanese pilot Gunpei Ikari, parachute onto an island in the South Pacific after a dogfight and engage in close combat until the fight is interrupted by a giant ape. In 1973, Bill Randa, head of the US government organization Monarch, plans a search for primeval creatures on the recently discovered Skull Island. He recruits a US Army unit commanded by Lieutenant Colonel Preston Packard, tracker and former British Special Air Service Captain James Conrad, and anti-war photographer Mason Weaver. Arriving at Skull Island, Packard's men begin dropping seismic explosives, developed by Randa's seismologist Houston Brooks, to map out the island and prove Brooks's Hollow Earth theory. The unit is then attacked by the giant ape, scattering the survivors across the island. Two groups form between the survivors, one with Conrad, Weaver, Landsat official Neves, the researchers, and one of the soldiers, the other with Randa and the rest. Packard searches for the transport helicopter piloted by Major Jack Chapman, intending to use the weapons on board to kill the ape. Conrad's group encounters the local Iwi natives and an older Marlowe. Marlowe tells the group about the giant ape named Kong, which protects the island from predators, including a race of subterranean reptilian creatures dubbed skullcrawlers, which were awakened from the bombing and responsible for killing Kong's entire species, leaving him as the last of his kind. The Iwi believe when Kong dies, a giant skullcrawler will awaken and ravage the island. Marlowe reveals he and Ikari had become friends during their time on the island, but Ikari was killed by a skullcrawler some time ago. As Chapman is ambushed and devoured by a skullcrawler, Conrad's group helps Marlowe finish a boat made from parts of Marlowe's and Ikari's downed planes. They ride down the river where Neves is torn apart by carnivorous birds and secure communication with Packard's group. When they regroup with Packard, he insists on searching for Chapman. Marlowe leads them through a mass grave of dinosaurs and Kong's family members. The skullcrawler that killed Chapman attacks them, killing Randa and others before Weaver triggers a flammable gas explosion that kills it. Learning of Chapman's death, Packard reveals his plan to kill Kong and avenge his fallen men. Marlowe and Brooks attempt to explain that killing Kong would lead to the skullcrawlers running rampant, but Packard refuses to listen. The groups part ways, with Packard's group retrieving the weapons from Chapman's chopper and laying a trap for Kong at a nearby lake, while the non-military personnel head back to the boat. Conrad and Weaver meet Kong up close and, seeing his true peaceful nature, resolve to save him. Packard's group lures Kong with the remaining seismic charges and incapacitates him with ignited napalm. Conrad, Weaver, and Marlowe arrive and, after a standoff, persuade the other soldiers to spare Kong, but Packard refuses to yield. As the others retreat, the giant skullcrawler emerges from the lake, and Kong crushes Packard. The skullcrawler fights and overpowers Kong, but in the end, the ape is victorious with the humans' help. The survivors reach the rendezvous point and leave the island as Kong stoically watches. In the aftermath, Marlowe reunites with his wife and meets his son for the first time. In a post-credits scene, Monarch detains and recruits Conrad and Weaver, who are informed by Monarch biologists Sanlin and Brooks that Kong is not the only monster king, and show archive footage of cave paintings depicting Godzilla, Mothra, Rodan, and King Ghidorah. The Fennel image shows Godzilla and Ghidorah in battle. ADR. 5 years after the existence of giant monsters, called Titans, was revealed to the world, Dr. Emma Russell, a paleobiologist working for the Titan studying organization Monarch, and her daughter Madison, witnessed the birth of a larva called Mothra. Emma calms Mothra using the Orca, a device that can emit frequencies to attract or alter Titan behavior. A group of eco-terrorists, led by former British Army Colonel Alan Jonah, attacks the base and abducts Emma and Madison. At the same time, Mothra flees and pupates under a nearby waterfall. Monarch scientists Dr. Ishiro Serizawa and Vivian Graham approach former employee Dr. Mark Russell, Emma's ex-husband and Madison's father, to help track them down. Mark is reluctant at first due to his hatred toward Godzilla, whom he blames for his son Andrew's death during the events in San Francisco, but eventually agrees. The Monarch team follows Godzilla to Antarctica, where Jonah plans to free a three-headed Titan codenamed Monster Zero. Emma frees and awakens Monster Zero, who proves to be hostile. He slaughters Monarch's G-team, battles Godzilla, and devours Graham before escaping. The team later realizes that Emma is working with the terrorists. From a Monarch bunker, Emma contacts Monarch and argues that the Titans must be awakened to heal the Earth from the human impact on the environment, pointing to Monarch research indicating that Titans can terraform and replenish ecosystems. Emma awakens Rodan in Mexico, and the Monarch team lures it towards Monster Zero. After Monster Zero defeats Rodan, Godzilla ambushes Monster Zero, severing his left head. During the fight, the US military launches a prototype weapon called the Oxygen Destroyer, seemingly killing Godzilla. Unaffected, Monster Zero regrows his lost head and awakens the other dormant Titans worldwide, with Rodan submitting to his rule, while Serizawa chides Mark that he's gotten what he wished for. A heartbroken Madison disowns Emma. Through analyzing Monster Zero's abilities and mythological texts, Monarch deduced that it's King Ghidorah, a highly destructive alien, and that it likely seeks to destructively terraform Earth for itself. A post-pupation Mothra flies to Monarch's Bermuda base to communicate with Godzilla, who is recuperating in an ancient underwater city in the Hollow Earth. The team uses a submarine to locate Godzilla's highly radioactive lair. Deducing it will take too long for Godzilla to heal on his own, Serizawa sacrifices himself by manually detonating a nuclear warhead to speed up the process, reviving Godzilla and increasing his power. Emma realizes that Ghidorah's reign over the other Titans is bringing destruction that will be far worse than anything humans could inflict. But Jonah ignores her pleas to try and stop it. Madison overhears her mother's plan to lure Ghidorah to Boston nearby, which has been evacuated, and steals the Orca so she can implement it herself. Arriving at Fenway Park, Madison broadcasts a frequency that calms the Titans, but unwittingly attracts them all to her location. Ghidorah lands in Boston to destroy the Orca. Godzilla arrives to engage him in battle with Monarch personnel's assistance. Mark leads a team to rescue Madison and escape the city, learning Godzilla's radiation levels are increasing and will lead to a thermonuclear explosion. Mothra arrives to help Godzilla, but is intercepted by Rodan. She defeats him, but is injured in the process. Ghidorah overpowers Godzilla, but Mothra sacrifices herself and transfers her energy to Godzilla. Mark, Emma, and Madison are reunited and reactivate the Orca to prevent Ghidorah extracting Godzilla and Mothra's energy out of Godzilla. Emma stays behind to keep Ghidorah distracted chasing the Orca, giving Mark, Madison, and the Monarch team time to escape. Godzilla enters a newly empowered state and vaporizes Ghidorah, along with Emma. Rodan and the other Titans converge on Godzilla and bow to him as their new alpha. During the ending credits, news clippings and Monarch public files show that the Titans are now healing the planet. A suspected second Mothra egg has been discovered, and some Titans are converging on Skull Island. Ancient cave paintings of Godzilla and Kong-like Titans locked in battle are shown. In a post-credits scene, Jonah and his forces purchase Ghidorah's previously severed left head in Mexico. 5 years after the dragon-like extraterrestrial King Ghidorah awakened the monstrous Titans around the world and was defeated by Godzilla. 2. Kong is monitored by Monarch within a giant dome on Skull Island, which has been taken over by the storm that previously kept it hidden from the world. Kong is visited by Gia, the last Iwi native and young adopted daughter of Kong expert Eileen Andrews. Gia is deaf and communicates with Kong via sign language. Apex Cybernetics employee and Titan Conspiracy podcast host Bernie Hayes extracts data suggesting sinister activities at Apex's Pensacola facility. Godzilla attacks the facility, and Bernie stumbles on a massive device during the rampage. Madison Russell, a listener to Bernie's podcast, enlists Josh Valentine to investigate Godzilla's attacks. Apex CEO Walter Simmons recruits former Monarch scientist and Hollow Earth theorist Nathan Lind to guide a search for a power source into the Hollow Earth, the Titan's homeworld. Lind is hesitant as his brother died in an expedition to the Hollow Earth due to a strong reverse gravitational effect. He agrees when Walter reveals that Apex has developed Heaves, specialized craft able to withstand the gravity field. Lind convinces Andrews to let Kong guide them via an outpost in Antarctica. Lind, Andrews, and an Apex team led by Walter's daughter Maya board a bargie escorted by the US Navy, carrying a sedated and restrained Kong. Godzilla attacks the convoy and defeats a heavily sedated Kong. Due to Godzilla having low levels of intellect, he retreats after the ships trick him into thinking they are destroyed. Kong is airlifted to the Hollow Earth entrance and the team follows him into the tunnel in the Heaves. Bernie joins Madison and Josh in their investigation. They sneak into the wrecked Apex base, discover a secret underground facility, and become locked into a hyperloop transport to Apex's Hong Kong headquarters, where they find a test of Mechagodzilla. It is telepathically controlled by Ren Serizawa, the son of the late Ishiro Serizawa. See via neural networks from the severed head of Ghidorah. Walter intends to harness the Hollow Earth's energy to overcome Mechagodzilla's power supply limitations. Inside the Hollow Earth, Kong and the team find an ecosystem similar to Skull Island. In his species' ancestral throne room, they find the remains of an ancient war with Godzilla's kind, and a glowing axe made from another Godzilla's dorsal plates. Identifying the power source, the Apex team sends its signature back to their Hong Kong base, despite Andrews' protests. Attracted by Mechagodzilla's activation, Godzilla arrives in Hong Kong. Godzilla drills a shaft directly to the throne room with his atomic breath. Maya and the Apex team's heave is crushed by Kong. Kong, Andrews, Gia, and Lind ascend to Hong Kong, where Kong engages Godzilla and manages to defeat him despite Kong still feeling the effects of the sedation. A final battle ensues in which Godzilla emerges victorious over an exhausted Kong who hasn't had much rest, injuring Kong along the process. Madison, Josh, and Bernie are caught by security and taken to Walter, who orders Ren to activate Mechagodzilla, which is then possessed by Ghidorah's consciousness. It kills Walter, electrocutes Ren, and overwhelms Godzilla. Lind revitalizes Kong by detonating the halve on his chest, giving him energy, acting like a defibrillator. Gia convinces Kong to help Godzilla. As Mechagodzilla overpowers Godzilla, Josh momentarily short-circuits Mechagodzilla's controls with Bernie's flask of liqueur on its control panel. Godzilla charges Kong's axe with his atomic breath, allowing Kong to destroy Mechagodzilla. Madison, Bernie, and Josh reunite with Madison's father, Mark, while Godzilla acknowledges Kong for saving him and walks away. Sometime later, Monarch establishes an observation post in the Hollow Earth, where Kong now rules. With the cinematic universe expanding, the narrative now dives deeper into the realm of Titans, setting the stage for an epic saga where Godzilla reigns as the supreme ruler of the surface world, his dominance undisputed after the climactic events of the previous films. Meanwhile, Kong, the mighty guardian of Skull Island, ventures into the uncharted territories of the Hollow Earth, a realm teeming with ancient mysteries and formidable adversaries, seeking to carve out his own kingdom in this primordial underworld. The latest trailers tease the emergence of a new Titan, bearing a striking resemblance to an orangutan. This intriguing design choice not only differentiates this newcomer from Kong, but also hints at a level of intelligence that could rival or surpass Kong's own, suggesting a complex interplay of power dynamics within the Hollow Earth. Amidst these unfolding events, Kong is seen sporting a mechanical exoskeleton on his hand, a significant development that raises questions about its origin. Did Kong sustain a severe injury in a battle within the Hollow Earth, necessitating this technological augmentation? Or perhaps Monarch, always at the forefront of human-Titan interactions, has equipped Kong with this advanced technology, either as a means of healing or enhancing his capabilities for challenges that lie ahead. Moreover, the trailers cryptically suggest the presence of a fourth Titan, one that dwarfs even Godzilla in size and might. The very existence of such a formidable creature sets the stage for an unprecedented alliance. It's conceivable that Kong and Godzilla, once adversaries, might find common ground in facing this new threat. This potential team-up would not only be a spectacle of titanic proportions, but also a narrative arc that underscores the themes of unity and the lesser-seen aspects of these iconic characters. As the anticipation builds, fans are left pondering the implications of these developments. How will the introduction of new Titans and advanced technologies shift the balance of power in this ever-evolving universe? The stage is set for a narrative rich with ancient rivalries, unexpected alliances, and a battle for supremacy that may redefine the destinies of Godzilla, Kong, and the entire Titan realm.